Well, hi, I'm Scott, and this is Steve, and we're grateful that you have clicked on the video to listen to a little bit more about what's going on here at Marco Church. Steve, are you excited about what God has done?
I am, Scott, I am. I just read in the Bible, Jesus owns everything, and we get to work for Jesus. And that's thrilling.
Yeah.
It's thrilling.
And it's a privilege to be shepherds, pastors, in this setting here at Marco Presbyterian Church. And he's done a lot over the last year, a lot of changes, a lot of different things. You've got a new office.
I do.
You like your new office?
I love my new office. I have a window.
It's been fun to see how God is working, even in these minor changes. Even today, we're changing some offices around to help us to be a little more effective and efficient in what God's called us to do. You see this room. This room is one of the changes that has happened over the last year. And the reason that we made some of the changes here is so that we might reach more people for Christ. And we've seen many more people coming in the door to hear the gospel. It's been fun.
Yeah, I wish you could have seen last Sunday. It's empty now, but last Sunday there were people at every one of these tables. Young children. I don't know how many you had for the children's talk, but there had to be 8 or 9 at least. And it's just so encouraging.
Yeah, it is a privilege to be in the midst of children. They're unpredictable. They like to insert their own ideas, but it's fun to be a part of what we would simply call discipleship. We want them to see the gospel. And so we've made changes to this room. We have 2 services, but 1 church. And so we continue to look back and say, God's done a lot of great things over the last 12 months, but now we're looking ahead, and we're looking to see what He might do over the next 12 months.
Well, and that's right, Scott, because our island has changed. And so your church is changing because the island has changed. The demographics are such that we now have a lot of young families. And I see young people all over the place, and we just want to reach them. That's really all we're doing.
Yeah, we want to say we're for Marco. We want to say that we love you so much that we gave you not only the gospel of God, but our whole lives, our whole selves. And so we do that in many different ways. You're getting this email and this video because you're invested, and not just financially. Many of you are invested with your time and your talent. And we're a little behind in our general budget. We're about $75,000 behind right now, and our budget year ends in April. And so we're just helping the church at large. We're addressing the fact that we're where we think God wants us to be. And financially speaking, we're a little bit behind. And so would you consider in how you give, if you're maybe a regular giver, would you maybe consider a little bit more, maybe 5% more? If you're an erratic giver, maybe you consider being a more regular giver. And we just want to say we love being a part of this body.
Yeah. You know, Scott, I lived in Australia for a long time. And one of our favorite things in Australia was a boomerang. In many ways, I think about a boomerang. You throw a boomerang and it comes back. And that's what Marco Church is. When you give $1 to Marco, it boomerangs. And we have ESL, and we have one of the most exciting world missions programs you'll find in a church. So that the dollar that comes in is not just for here, it's to touch the world. That's a real boomerang.
Yeah. And that's just to reiterate that we're a church that's changing, but the gospel will never change in this church, and that gospel is not just for Marco Island, but it's for the world. And we're excited about being a part of that. We think that that's a great thing, a privilege to be a part of.
Yeah. And you know, one of the changes, and you'll see it when you come down this season, is there's now 2 of us. And I know for myself, I enjoy working with my brother, and I feel like we're helping each other, carrying the load together so that we don't get worn out. And we each bring something to the party. And so when you come down, take us out for coffee. Get to know Scott, get to know me better.
Yeah, we both like coffee.
He's a barista. So I'm not, I'm just a professional coffee drinker.
Yeah. Well, we'll share the coffee. We'd love to get coffee with you. We'd love for you to ask questions and get to know us, and we'd love to get to know you. And we're grateful, again, for being here and being a part of what God is doing on Marco Island.